Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. It's Mondays with Mallory, with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame, weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, it's Fridays with Mallory today, but happy to have John Mallory with us today as we wrap up the week. Jay Tuss is already en route to Colorado Springs. I'm hurrying off to the airport as soon as this show is done, but Boise State Air Force tomorrow, 5 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, and we appreciate John Mallory switching from Monday to Friday to get his weekly appearance in this week. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well, man. There's nothing like getting up early on a Friday. I'm telling you, of all the weekdays that you have to get up a little earlier on, Friday for me is the best one because it's the most exciting day of the week, right? You get a little jump start on that, kick it into another gear a little earlier than you're used to. BJ, let's have some fun. And Boise State Air Force, not always the most fun to watch on the eyeballs watching a football game, but it seems like it's always one of the bigger games in this division each year in this league. And this year, no different, man. This is a big game for both clubs.
I thought you were going to say it's the worst time to wake up because when I texted you, it was like mid-third quarter of the football game. I figured you had a few beverages, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. I'll see."
Relaxing on the couch. I did forget I had to do this today.
So I thought you were going to say it was the. I thought you were going to say it was the worst day to have to wake up after that, but no, we appreciate it, man. I miss college football on Thursdays, by the way. I know you're an NFL guy. It's cool the NFL came back, but they have some games, but they're not good games anymore. But Thursday night college football used to be some of the best games of the week.
Oh, man. I never really thought about that, too, because there still are games on Thursday. And mostly for nerds like you, like, I'm going to look over at the South Alabama game. You know, I want to say
they played Troy. Right? I may have been on the wrong side of that one, but
they played Troy. Yeah, you know, like
Georgia Tech couldn't move the ball at all again. Oh, it was unbelievable.
College football now, you're right, BJ. It's kind of punted that big Thursday night opportunity for teams. Now, actually, Friday night, you see much bigger matchups in college football than Thursday, and I'm cool with that too. Actually, now that I think about it.
Now, I don't know if you book your own travel or if Share does it for you or whenever you go on a trip, you know, Johnny. But I don't know if Jay Tuss has a travel agent or if he books his own travel. But Jay is doing something that I've never seen someone do before. To get to Colorado Springs, he's flying to Denver, then waiting in the airport for a couple hours, and then flying like 20 minutes to Colorado Springs when you could just drive from Denver to Colorado Springs way faster then you're going to fly. And so Big Wade's asking, is JT still in the Denver airport waiting for his connecting flight? Like Sunday morning. I got to give Jay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've done this trip, you know, same reason you have. You know, you fly into Denver, and I think I took a cab to Colorado Springs.
That might have been a little pricey. I mean, it's about an hour drive down to the academy.
I think I did, though. Okay. I mean, it was the company paid for it at the time. I think
I'm renting a car. I mean, I can make it there.
Cab.
And I like giving Jake. I like giving Jay crap. It's you know, it's just kind of funny because like on Sunday morning, he leaves Colorado Springs at 7 a.m. and then we're on the same flight out of Denver at like 11 a.m. So I'm going to wake up at like 8:30, drive up to Denver, meet Jay in the airport after he's connected from Colorado Springs, and then we're going to fly on the same flight back to Boise. But so I'm calling out Jay's travel agent, I guess. It doesn't seem like the most efficient way to do it, but because the problem is the Colorado Springs airport, you got to drive like 30 minutes back north to get to the academy, so you're really not saving a ton of time anyway. But
never even been to the Colorado Springs airport, right? You fly into Denver, and then you find a way to Colorado Springs.
You rent a car
from Denver. You don't wait in the airport a couple more hours. Come on, Tustage.
I think he likes, letting people see him in the airport. Maybe he signs a few autographs, takes a few pictures.
Let's talk about the game.
Oh, man. What do you make of Troy Calhoun's comments this week, Johnny? He loves him some Boise State.
Bill Parcells, I'm a big fan of Bill Parcells. And when they beat the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25, it was the Giants versus the Bills. It was the Scott Norwood missed kick. And Bill Parcells, I read in a book later on, he said, guys, we are going to blow so much air basically up the dress of the Buffalo Bills that, they're going to fall in love with us. The whole thing to the media, it's not about us. It's about how good they are, how wonderful they are in every phase. We're kind of happy to be here. And Parcells went on, like, he thought that type of psychology worked. When I heard Calhoun, the second one, I think that you're going to play and that we aired on Idaho Sports Talk yesterday, I thought of that Bill Parcells reference. Like, gosh, that's awfully nice. Like, do you realize you guys are playing each other in a couple of days? Gosh, what is this, media days?
Well, does he also realize Boise State's only won 2 of the last 7 Mountain West championships? Boise State lost last year to Air Force on the blue, and oh, by the way, they're 4-4 in their last 8 meetings. So it hasn't nearly been as one-sided. I mean, you listen to Troy Calhoun talk, you think they have no chance tomorrow. I had 3 bites I had to pick from. Here was his opening statement. I thought this. Here's Troy Calhoun with a general synopsis of Boise State.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look, golly, I mean, the quarterback is – no 2 players are ever exactly the same, but truly the resemblances to Vince Young. Yeah, you got a guy that's 6'5 plus, it's 215 pounds. It's a incredible talent. And ever since he's gone in there, they've been a completely different team. And I think every one of their conference games they've won by 3 touchdowns. I was thinking, if they're just different than everybody else in this league, and it's a little bit like in the old Big 7 or Big 8, the Crimson team. What'd they win when Bud Wilkins won? Like they had to go like 78 games until they ever lost a game. I mean, they could go on one of those runs within this league just because they're. If they were in a Power 5, they'd more than hold their own, and they deserve to be in a Power 5 league when you look at just the amount that's invested. But I think certainly at quarterback, he's something else. And to have 2 great, not good, but great running backs, in Giante and Halani. And then defensively, I don't want to overstep, but they're out of this world. They really are. You look defensively, I think they're number 2 in the country in total defense. They only give up 4.1 a play. Third down, I think they give up it's like 28%. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It really is when you look in, and yet it's not a surprise again just because they operate at a different level.
Your thoughts there, Johnny? I've got 2 more clips too. We could keep this going, but I don't know which part was the best. I mean, comparing them to
that's nice, man.
The Oklahoma teams of where.
Sorry, man. I'm talking way
Kevin
over
Foster. Kevin Foster says pretty disrespectful to only say Boise State can win 78 in a row.
He went Bud Wilkinson OU, okay? He threw out the Bud Wilkinson Oklahoma Sooner comparisons, man. Vince Young at quarterback. Defensively, he didn't even have a team to describe how great this defense was. He just said, they're out of this world. Like there wasn't anybody even to compare. There was no frame of reference. This defense is so dominant. I was expecting an 85 Bears reference to be thrown in there at some point. I love Coach Calhoun. I've interviewed him several times. I know you have too.
You are a Troy Calhoun guy.
I love him, man. He'll have fun with you. And I mean, he was being really nice there. I don't know what to say.
He did mispronounce Genty's name, as Nick Wade points out. That was
he's
the one
cool, though.
Jayante.
I mean, man, that was good stuff. You have more of that?
I mean, it might as well, right? Why not? Let's hear a little more of Troy Calhoun. He was asked first about every single question somebody asked him. He just went on this thing about how different the players are and how amazing they are. And the first question was, how does George Halani look compared to how he looked as a freshman when he rushed for 1,000 yards?
He's better. Quicker, stronger, more balance, the production. And it helps too. I mean, truly, when you go through the roster, it's not a case when you go through the depth chart. There are more than a couple of RSs on there. So, yeah. I mean, so when you're RS with a junior after it, that doesn't mean you're still 20. You're I don't want to make anything about carrying your real ID, but I mean, they're playing with different people than pretty much anybody that they face. And, and again, you go back to the Big Eight when the Crimson team was – their biggest rival was out of the league, across their border through Red River. And this squad, you can see why their biggest rival, probably more than likely, is the one of Provo.
Defensively, their front seven, this is the best front seven you've seen?
Yes. That didn't take long to think, did it?
How so? What are they doing?
Again, this isn't the first year or the second year or the third year these guys have been there. They're extremely stout. They know exactly which gap they're supposed to be. They play with different guys. They do.
Do they? I mean,
Boise State just lost to Air Force last year on the blue, Johnny. It's not like there was some 50-0 Boise State win last year. I mean, and there is one final one that's actually probably the funniest one. But I mean, do you think this is you mentioned it, like what Bill Parcells said. I mean, is this him trying to now? Apparently, he says a lot of this about every team. I'd love to hear him talk about New Mexico in a pregame presser. I mean, when they played Northern Iowa in the season opener, I would love to hear what he said about that one.
They might go Pete Carroll USC era or something. Yeah.
But I mean, do you think this is just Troy Calhoun's style, hype up the other team and get them feeling good about themselves, or do you think he thinks he's in for a long day tomorrow?
It's either yes to answer your question. This is just who he is and how he conducts the presser, and he's just going to be the nice guy, take the high road, class act. This is the Air Force, okay? Or there is something psychological to this, some type of psychological guerrilla warfare that he thinks maybe he can somehow, some way soften something up by just being so nice. But I don't know. Calhoun's been in this game a long time. He's a smart dude, and he is a really good football coach. He could have had an opportunity, I think, in the sense of like a Bronco Mendenhall when he left BYU and went to UVA and wanted the Power 5 shot. I think if that was on Calhoun's checklist, I think he would have checked that off by now, don't you? If he wanted to do the Power 5.
Colorado, I think, is a school that he interviewed with last time.
He would have had those opportunities.
Yeah.
So
Perry says he's more of a believer than a lot of Bronco fans. We got Logan saying, I didn't know this team was that good. It's Keaton says, could be the Belichick strategy, over complimenting his opponent before going out and beating them by 20.
Belichick got that from Parcells.
Let's just play the final one. We might as well.
Let's do this.
We're going down this road. We might as well. Here's more of Troy Calhoun talking about Boise State.
They have so many NFL guys. I mean, it just I might like.
Hold on a second, Johnny. I got
I'm sorry. They might on their roster now, but I mean, in this coming draft, like combine invites, so many is probably over exaggerating this a little bit. Now, maybe in the roster, there's going to be kids 2-3 years from now they get drafted. And I love Coach Calhoun, but okay, play that again. And I'm sorry, man, but you're right. I didn't think you could top the first wave of compliments, man. The Bud Wilkinson OU references and the undefeated streaks.
I think there's actually another OU reference again in this one, but yeah.
DJ, but
here we go. Here we go. Here's Troy Calhoun.
They have so many NFL guys. I mean, it just I might liken it more to 1985, where you got a great talent and a guy named Aikman, but in comes Holloway, and that team went and won a bunch of games. I mean, it's just, and the previous quarterback, he'll end up somewhere and being a tremendous player. I mean, they're just, again, it just goes back to, you look at their 2 deep and their 3 deep, and how they're able to recruit and their investment. I mean, you don't flinch, and I really don't. I mean, if they went on one of those runs where they had 8 straight years of winning the Mountain West Conference, you just say, yeah, that's fathomable.
But all those factors remain the same at their start versus now, and something has changed within the way they're playing. So what do you think is?
Probably just a little bit of time. But, I mean, defensively, they're extra. I mean, you just look defense. I mean, they are through the roof. And offensively, I do think having both backs has been helpful too. But clearly, just the explosiveness that this quarterback brings to their offense. Just he's, to be 6'5" and to be that electric. And I don't know why, but I remember we were playing Vince Young when he was a rookie with the Titans, and he was from Houston, and the Texans didn't draft him, and all of a sudden in overtime it's like 20-20, and he drops back and he goes about 38, 39 yards in overtime, and you just thought, that's the recollection. The similarities, like I said, they're never ever two guys are the same, but it's just that talent, that skill set. That's why we get to play it. I mean, they do not give up yards at all. I mean, it's I'm trying to think, like the top 4 or 5 defenses in the country are Georgia, Boise State, who is it? Illinois, maybe Michigan and Ohio State. And that I could miss on that, but I mean, they're big. They're so talented. I mean, this is anybody they're going to play against. They're going to be very dominant just because they overwhelm you on talent and size, and they're prepared well.
There you go. There he is.
That's just, he's such a wonderful man. That's, I mean,
now,
I know
apparently he does do this about every team they play, but it just seemed a little glowing about Boise. I mean, again, man, I'm not trying to like downplay Boise State or whatever, but like, they've won 2 Mountain West titles in the last 7 years, and you just beat them on their field last year. Like, there should be no intimidation, none of this. And he comes out, and you got your 85 reference with Aikman. I mean,
he compared Troy Aikman to Hank Bachmeier, and I love Hank, but I saw Troy Aikman in college, and he was terrific. He was a Heisman finalist. He compared it to that switch over at Oklahoma when they went from Aikman to Holloway.
And then he's in the NFL, and they played against Vince Young, and he remembers some 40-yard run Vince Young had against him, and then he's looking at Talon Green, and
that's what he's thinking of. I mean, yeah, maybe so, and he knows a lot more about football than you and I combined, obviously, BJ. But yeah, that seemed like that was a little, I'll use a reference. It was Eddie Haskell. Oh, that's a wonderful dress you're wearing, Mrs. Cleaver. Would you mind telling me where you purchased it? I'd like to recommend it for my grandmother. Like it was just kind of Eddie Haskell for me. But that's an old reference for our new listeners or viewers. But yeah, he's a good guy, and that's funny, man. I'm glad I had no idea you were going to bring those clips to today's show. I thought we were going to like talk about the game and stuff, but that was
Yeah.
too good to pass up, BJ. You probably got sponsors you got to play, but that was funny, man. Troy Calhoun. That got this is gonna be a good Friday, man.
I was originally going to play him on the pregame show tomorrow, and then I thought, there was laughing too hard when I was cutting them this morning, and I said, you know what, I got to play a couple of these. But
and again, we're not diminishing Boise State. They have a ton of talent. They do, and
it's great. But I mean, has he watched the last 7 years? I mean, it is what it is. But you're right. I do have a couple sponsors, a couple bills to pay here. The Blue and Orange Store, appreciate them. The blueandorangestore.com, free shipping. Any order over $40. If you go online, the blueandorangestore.com, make your order of at least $40, and you get free shipping. You can also check them out right there at the Boise Town Square Mall as well, next to Pro Image up on the second floor. Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. Check them out. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. When your next trip to the grocery store, think local, think Ridley's Family Markets. United Commercial Insurance, they can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. That's right. If you're looking to save some money on your business insurance, you own a business, you handle the business insurance portion of it, quick call could save you hundreds of dollars. They make business insurance easy at United Commercial Insurance. BoiseDentistryCo.com as well, locations across the Treasure Valley. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Full family dentistry. They can help out anybody in your family, whether it be your grandma, your kid, whoever. Check them out, BoiseDentistryCo.com. We got Transportation Compliance Service as well. I was talking to them the other day. If you're looking to get in the trucking industry, and again, you don't have to drive the big rig on the screen there. You can drive the little Amazon truck you see in your neighborhood. You need a permit. They can help you out. It's a great career right now with the pandemic and everything. So transcompservice.com, all the permits, all the things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcompservice.com. Johnny, I wanted to talk basketball for a few minutes, but I guess find the final thing on football. Do you have a feel for how this game's going to go on Friday? A lot of fans in the chat are worried a little bit. Some are not worried. Air Force comes in as a 4-point favorite in this game. This seemingly is the last, game, at least in conference play, where they're going to be underdogs. You win this game, you have a chance to win out, host the Mountain West Championship game. Even if you win this game, you probably can afford one more loss somewhere else and still host the championship game. It's obviously a huge game. Boise State has, in the past, going back to 2014, had some trouble at the academy. It's probably going to be a fairly low-scoring game, I would think. A fast-moving game with all the running game. What's your just analysis on this game, and what do you think about Boise State's chances?
I've looked in the history of this game a little bit this week on Idaho Sports Talk. I saw in the 10 previous times they've played, 7 of those times one team has scored 30 points or more. So it's been higher scoring than you would think. But for me, this is a storyline game. I like storylines in my line of work more than, hey, what does this team need to do to win the game and vice versa. This is a storyline game in a sense where if Boise State wins this, I think all of the sudden you get back into a different conversation in this town. Right now, last couple of weeks, first off, it was just, hey, can this season be saved? Now the conversation is, okay, I think we can win the league. I think if Boise State beats Air Force and then you start kind of peeking ahead at that BYU opportunity on the blue, then I think the Cotton Bowl, New Year's 6 conversation comes back a little bit. The American Athletic Conference has 3 good teams right now, but only one of them will be eligible. This is only for conference champions. So they're going to beat each other up, and that won't matter. Essentially, Boise State's going to put itself in a beauty pageant potentially against, the winner of the American. And if those teams, they all still have to play each other, Tulane, UCF, and Cincinnati, beat each other up, maybe throwing an upset here or there, all of a sudden the conversation changes. The storyline changes a little bit for me. This is a big game, and Boise State still has, hard to believe, but they still have just about everything in front of them that they wanted this season outside of an undefeated season. And a victory here really sets up these next 2 home games, which have been the last 2 terrific in attendance and atmosphere. And I know our boys, JD and Cody, they want to get this win and get these 2 home games and everything that will come with that. You'd think you beat Colorado State next week, and then all of a sudden you set up this BYU game that could have mega CFP type of CFP New Year's 6 type of implications. Correct me. Sorry about that. But it's a storyline game. Back to this thing. You win this one, and a lot of dominoes get set up, BJ, with an opportunity to fall and do some damage.
Vlad says good points being made by Johnny right now. My thoughts exactly. Kay Foster has Boise money line and the over in this one, and maybe the odds makers were listening to Rocky or to Troy Calhoun a little much. Apparently, the line is down to +2.
That's what I was going to say. I saw the line last night, and it was 2.
It opened at 4, hung around 4 for a little bit, and then Troy Calhoun had his press conference, and the odds makers realized they needed to.
That was the nicest thing. The nicest things I've ever heard a coach say about an opponent. I mean, it was as if he was playing, 1962 Oklahoma Sooner Bud Wilkinson teams. Like, it really was. That respect was there. That was. Yeah, that was.
And like I said, but I mean, if Air Force was playing like Ohio State or something, you'd believe it. But it's like it's a fairly even match game. Like, you're the favorite in the game.
Favored. VJ. Yeah.
As South Alabama lost last night, another Group of 5 contender.
Yes.
Logan
that eliminates the Sun Belt basically outside of Coastal Carolina, but Coastal Carolina doesn't want to get into a beauty pageant with Boise State or the American Conference, in my opinion. But we'll see. Again, that's a few weeks down the road. But heck yeah, we're starting the conversation. Boise State fans paying attention to other Group of 5 teams with good records losing games. That's where I said the conversation advances, BJ. They're already getting into it. I love it.
It's Keaton wants to send that clip from Calhoun to the Big Ten automatic conference invite. Kay Foster's more worried about BYU than Air Force. Nick Wade says we should be getting an SEC invite after that. Clvad says if we're able to dominate Air Force, I expect us to win out. Can our offense wear down the Air Force defense? You mentioned over 30. You're expecting another team to get over 30. You're expecting one of the two teams to get over 30 in this game.
70% of the time that happens. I'll stick with that too. Actually, no, I'm going to say no. I take that back. I do think Boise State's defense is going to do a good job containing the Air Force rushing attack. I'm expecting a lower score.
Okay, Boise State basketball in the final 3 minutes here, Johnny. They are scrimmaging number 19 Oregon tomorrow. It's a private scrimmage at 10 a.m., and no fans will be allowed. You're not supposed to have reports come out from that, but usually it leaks out at some point. But it's in Eugene right before the big Oregon football game. They'll have game day going on. Maybe we'll see Leon Rice in the background at game day on Saturday. But it's over there in Eugene tomorrow morning. We can't watch it. We're probably not going to get a ton of answers from it. But what do you make of Boise State doing a private scrimmage against Oregon and kind of seeing where they're at this point?
I mean, it's kind of a buzzkill. It's cool that a lot of teams do this. But again, you don't really know what happens. So, you just know, hey, they scrimmaged a team that is also really good, that has tournament aspirations, right? And so get whatever you can out of it, kind of test your team against, you're not playing against yourself anymore, or beating up some NAIA lollygagger type of thing, right? So
we'll get to do that in the exhibition against Carroll College.
Nate Lowry's not going to be keeping score and texting,
No, I don't think he's even going, is what he told me yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, the odds of Leon at some point just taking a peek over at the game day festivities on campus tomorrow, that's 100%.
You think so? He's gonna do his morning walk or his morning jog or something, or bike ride or scooter ride over there. Yeah.
Burnsy too. I think Coach Burns will mosey on over there just to kind of see the festivities, take it in a little bit, not make a sign or anything, but
Well, we'll see what information we can uncover from that. It's not supposed to get public, but sometimes it does. But a big test for Boise State basketball tomorrow morning, and then November 1st, I believe it is, a week from Wednesday, they'll host Carroll College in the exhibition game, and then open up the season on November 9th. So basketball season's pretty much here, and looking forward to that. But Johnny, appreciate you guys. We'll be listening 3 to 6. I'm going to join you at 4 o'clock today on Idaho Sports Talk with you and Prater. We'll get into this game tomorrow. Boise State Air Force. So I'll be in Colorado Springs, probably looking out my window at the Air Force Academy when I join you guys at 4 o'clock. So looking forward to that, and appreciate you switching up the days today, man, and coming on Friday.
Yeah, a lot of scenic views in Colorado Springs. That is truly a beautiful part of this country, man. Enjoy, BJ. We'll talk to you this afternoon on Idaho Sports Talk. Thanks for having me.
Yep, appreciate it. Thanks again, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, AroPaint.com, our title sponsor. And, of course, we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios. He's John Mallory. My name is BJ Rains. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. Have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll talk to you later. I'll be on 4 o'clock with them, and then our live pregame show. Rich Waltz, the play-by-play guy, Jay Tuss, both going to join me live on my pregame show, 3:30 tomorrow from the Air Force Academy, Falcon Stadium. So have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.